Today's video is a bit of an odd one because most of the clips coming up are loosely connected to the ongoing woke reaction to American politics, most of them. Yet, when I saw these clips, each one of them made me go, what? Basically, I've seen these clips, so you have to as well. Well, you don't have to, you can turn off. There are millions of things you could be watching on YouTube. And yesterday, YouTube turned 20 years old. Only 20 years. What the hell were we doing before this platform? We were watching television programs. Anyway, for these clips, really, strap yourselves in. So that's people dressed as caricatures of Donald Trump and Elon Musk being towed along by an obese person in a wheelchair. The type of person who, if I'm honest, I'm left wondering, do they have a disability or are they just fat? And I'm sure there's some deep political message and lots of symbolism in there, but bugger me, I don't know what it is. Either that or that's a clip from a movie and the next Mad Max film has an extremely low budget. Next up is the clip that doesn't quite fit, but it does sum up wokery in general. Let's watch one of the blue-haired people having a performative meltdown.
I'm here. I'm here. I know you're scared. I know you don't know what to do. But I've got you and I won't leave you. And I love you and I'm so sorry that you're scared. But it's okay to feel. It's safe to feel. It's safe to cry. It's safe to move through it.
So, as a former therapist, and yes, I can't believe it either, reparenting, that's a person trying to self-soothe. Someone who's, I've had a traumatic childhood or maybe just a neglectful childhood. And usually I would feel sorry for her. Sorry, that'll be a they, them. But I don't, because they are airing their dirty laundry in public. It's performative. It's an attempt to score victimhood points. And that caption, this is extremely vulnerable. No, it isn't. It's egotistical twaddle. And I'm sorry, because I might sound a bit misogynistic here, but if that woman, because that's what she is, has got the time to dye her hair a blue colour that isn't found in nature and put time aside to record herself crying on the internet, then why hasn't she got the time to shave her fucking legs? Anyway, moving on and back to American politics.
Do you guys remember in 2021 when Joe Biden went to visit Pope Francis and Pope Francis lived? Me too.
As we know, J.D. Vance visited His Holiness Pope Francis and the next day the Pope died. Does our new friend not understand those two things are not connected? Pope Francis was 88 years old and in extremely poor health. He couldn't even walk. But 4 years ago, he wasn't as ill or as old. That's why he didn't die then. I think the interesting thing, though, is that back in 2021, the Pope would be able to tell you he'd met President Biden. Biden probably didn't know that he'd met the Pope.
To the people in the U.S. military who swore an oath to the Constitution and not the fucking president, where are you? Where are you?
Is this overly emotional gentleman actually suggesting that the American armed forces should carry out a coup against the American government? Because no matter how bad things seem to him, I guarantee that living under a military junta would be much worse. Countries run by the armed forces, they tend to turn into dictatorships. And it's the people from those countries which tend to flood, often illegally, into the USA, Europe and the United Kingdom. Anyway, let's stick with the delusional people of the New World.
So this morning, someone that goes by Mad Hatter on TikTok made a really important and scary video about how there's no press coverage about the women that are being deported by ICE and where they are going. So we see that there's these mass deportations. They're rounding up these individuals in the United States and sending them to El Salvador, putting them in cages, treating them like animals, handcuffing them, beating them. But where are the women going? Because we know that those arrests are happening. We see them happen. We know they're going into schools and taking and handcuffing children. Where are they putting them? And it's a little bit eerie because J.D. Vance and Trump are publicly talking about how they're going to give bonuses of $5,000 and more to families that have babies right now, and honor women who have 6 or more children in their family because we have declining birth rates. Meanwhile, they're defunding programs that focus on IVF and family planning. So it's just a really spooky time to not know where all these women are going. And if you've seen Handmaid's Tale, you know why. And if you haven't seen it, look it up.
Have people on the woke far left watched the excellent TV adaptation of Margaret Atwood's novel The Handmaid's Tale and convinced themselves they were watching a fucking documentary? Is she alleging that female illegal immigrants are not being deported but are being forced into some sort of underground breeding program, and that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, fresh back from allegedly murdering the Pope, they're going to encourage all American women to have more and more children? Well, in a way, she's answered her own question. The USA has a falling birth rate, so if the indigenous population don't start breeding, the economy will have to rely on more and more migrant labour. And her news source? A TikToker called Mad Hatter, because of course TikTok isn't just a giant nutter magnet. Why is it that on the news she's seeing men being deported, not women and children? I'm going to guess firstly, optics. Women and children being deported, that isn't a good look. And secondly, I'm guessing the good people of the USA aren't that concerned about women and children being in their country. They'll be more concerned about the armies of illegal fighting age young men. These mobile fucking crime waves that bring all of their problems and more with them. Those are the people that they'll want deported. But apparently these men are being beaten on the news. Has she seen that? No, because I haven't either. But in the 3 minutes I had left on my dinner break today, I did manage to track down the TikToker Mad Hatter.
So the men are in El Salvador. Where are the women and children? That's the question. We don't know. In fact, they actually lost 500,000 kids. Yeah, that wasn't just the Trump administration, though. That was under Biden as well. So in the past, 5 years, they've lost 500,000 kids. 500,000 kids, guys. You don't lose 500,000 children. You don't lose 500,000. Think about how many people are 10 people. How many people are 100 people? How many people?
There's a shock. Another blue-haired nut job. And from the brief look I had at her TikTok account, she appears to be a full-on tinfoil hat-wearing conspiracy theorist who doesn't substantiate any of her claims. 500,000 children have gone missing. Well, where's your fucking evidence? You can't make a claim like that and not be able to back it up. And then, how many people are 10 people? Well, 10. How many people are 100? 100. This is not advanced mathematics. This has been a rather unplanned rambling video. If you got this far, well done. Anyway, that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you can leave a like or a comment, that really helps the algorithm. If you'd like to support me in making these videos, then there's a link in the description to buy me a coffee. And as ever, thanks for watching. Got through it. As a former therapist, yes, I can't believe it either. Usually I wouldn't have sympathy with that at all. If I'm honest, if I was a professional counsellor these days and something like that walked into my consulting room, my first thought would be, yes, I can afford a holiday. As we know, J.D. Vance visited His Holiness Pope Francis, and the next day the Pope very sadly died. And here comes some dickhead on a crosser. Why is it so many on the woke far left appear to have seen the TV adaptation of the excellent novel... Oh, fuck it. Why is it so many on the woke far left have apparently watched the TV adaptation of Margaret Atwood's excellent novel The Handmaid's Tale and thought they were watching a documentary? Because... fuck it.